Hi, everybody. So my name is Brian, and this is Terri Gnann. So today I'm at Cipriano Johnson Counseling, and this is an intensive outpatient therapy session where we discuss basically addictions and how to overcome them very successfully, I might add. And was that okay? But today we're going to be talking about Fentanyl Awareness Day. Now, why are we talking about Fentanyl Awareness Day today, Terry?
Well, actually, because the Senate has now actually made it an official awareness day, but it isn't. It's going to be, from now on, it's going to be on May the 10th. It's going to be National Awareness Day. Since they've been discussing it a lot lately, trying to put that together for when it was going to be and all, it's brought to our attention too because we've had so much attention given to, of course, the COVID-19 epidemic. We have all these other viruses have been coming up, but we can't forget how many people we lose to this fentanyl epidemic that we have right now.
So just in comparison here, so we're all aware of COVID-19 and how many people we lost during the pandemic. Terry, how many people on average in America do we lose to fentanyl per year?
Last year, when they put out the stats, it was 109,000 we had lost. And that's to opioid addiction. However, almost 60% of that had to do with fentanyl. The biggest thing with fentanyl right now is it does impact your recreational users too, because fentanyl is in 70% of your drugs on the street, like cocaine. So you get fentanyl in people that weren't searching for fentanyl. Fentanyl is very dangerous. It's a synthetic opioid, unlike like heroin is made from the poppy plant, and some of your other opioids. But fentanyl is a synthetic one, and it's really cheap, so it can make, a lot of the dealers can put it in maybe some heroin. It's not so good, make it really strong, but it doesn't take very much. You better know what you're doing when you put it in something. If you put enough fentanyl, it only takes actually like 0.007% for someone to die, which is like 2 grains of salt in a test tube. That's all it takes to kill somebody.
So let me just comment real quick. So to sum up what you're saying here, so about 60% of all opioid deaths are related to fentanyl. So fentanyl is responsible for all those deaths. And is there a particular age demographic that is
Yes, your average opioid addict actually is 25 to 45, mostly male. Now that's changing just a little bit, but that was because most of them had accidents or something where they had to get on pain pills.
Okay.
And then, pain pills can be very, very addictive after about 3 to 4 weeks because your pain's going down, your natural opioids lessen, so you need more and more of that to not feel the pain.
Gotcha.
And they can be very euphoric.
So now, it's very addictive, and you build up a resistance to it.
Yeah, because you're not getting your natural opioids. Now, another reason that fentanyl is so euphoric, is it's very fat soluble, and most of your opioids aren't like that, so you get a faster response to the body, more euphoric feeling.
What does that mean, fat soluble? So if I ingested it, it would just be absorbed by my fat cells? Is that what you're saying?
Right, it can be absorbed more easily. It also blocks off parts of the brain responsible for your oxygen intake. So if you take too much of it, that's why you have respiratory failure. And then you're going to need a shot of naloxone to get you back
to
breathing.
Yeah.
To breathing, yeah. And that's one of the things that we, that we try to advocate for, getting more of that to families and all. Okay. Now, the way we track these deaths is by following the Narcan usage when people OD. So actually, the people that die of overdose is a lot higher, because if they didn't get the naloxone, we track it kind of like that. We don't know how many people OD, because some people die without getting naloxone. Homeless sections, maybe older people that live alone.
Right.
So actually, it's a lot higher. In fact, it's raising about almost 3 times faster than heroin ODs, the fentanyl is. And in the last 12 months, it's grown like in some places up to 150% rise in ODs
All around the country.
all around
And
the
this
country.
is just in America.
Right.
Okay,
Now, other
so
countries are trying to crack down too on this, but what we're afraid of, it's mostly right now coming out of China, but they just changed the analogs and changed the labbing. So to cut down on that, they're just going to move to another country, and people are saying, well, we got to work on making the crime real strong for those dealers that are giving fentanyl. I don't think that's going to work as much as one time, Reverend Choo said, we keep trying to drag people out of the river, but maybe we need to walk up the stream and see why everybody keeps falling in. So in other words, as long as there's demand, there's going to be use, and the usage or where they put this together was just going to change, because all they have to do is put analogs together that mimic opioid and, and put together the fentanyl analog, and it's very cheap.
what do you mean when you say analog? What is that exactly?
Well, drugs have different analogs that look very similar to the real drug. That's why you have a lot of synthetic drugs that mimic, like, for instance, the bath salts that they sell in stores, mimic stimulants. The analogs in like K2, like pot, mimics the pot analogs. That's why they work very similar to the drug, but they're much more dangerous.
Okay.
Because actually synthetics are the only drug that actually change the neural pathways in the brain. So people using it under 25 is very dangerous, which, by the way, is the population that uses the most synthetics, because it doesn't show up on a drug screen and other reasons, and they're not educated about it.
Let's just sum up here real quick. Okay, so under 25 uses a lot of synthetic drugs, a lot of synthetic fentanyl, right? Is that what you're saying, that they're using synthetic fentanyl?
They're using synthetic drugs, period.
Okay,
more.
period.
But yeah, the synthetic fentanyl is kind of being used in everything.
Everything. Okay, so, and basically what we're trying to say here is that, maybe you are one of those people that is at a turning point, and you want to talk to somebody about, changing your life a little bit. So at Cipriano and Johnson, we have a phone number that is running at the bottom of this screen right here, and you can call us and make an appointment and talk to Terri or talk to one of the other capable counselors, and we would love it. So if anything that you heard sort of reaches out to you today, and if you feel like, hey, maybe I've got an issue, then please give us a call. Okay.
One more thing I want to say, Brian, too. The biggest shocker, I think, with the fentanyl is it's not just people with addiction issues. There are a lot of people dying that are just recreational users. Let's say you have a person that does, not saying that's right or anything, but does cocaine twice a year, maybe on his birthday, or just some fun. And we've had several people in the news, that have died. Well, not several, lots of them. And fentanyl's in it, and you didn't know that, because a lot of people say, well, I know the dealer or whatever, and the dealer might not even know it was in there, and then and then they die. These aren't people. I think we need to be educated and educate everyone on this, that you don't have to be an addict to be dying of fentanyl. It's in everything. They found it in pressed Xanny bars people buy off the street. And why are we having to buy things off the street? Because a lot of your places have, cracked down on giving pain pills, but you already got addicted people out there. So they're more likely to buy it off the street.
Right.
Now, another thing that we've advocated for are places like the Clean Needle programs, which Florida finally agreed to have some of these. And people think, oh, that's terrible, and give them a good place to do that. But the shocking thing is almost 85% of those people that end up using that end up getting help. Why? Because they go to a clean environment, then you go back to the cardboard box situation or whatever you're in, and you go, oh my God,
the difference is
the difference, and especially when it's cold or rainy. And then the majority of them will finally ask for help.
That's wonderful.
And they're taking something that's been checked, and they know it's not fentanyl in it. So again, I think that's one of the things we really got to concentrate on going up the river and seeing why so many people get into fentanyl use.
Yeah.
Besides the ones that are opioid addicts already. There's a lot of people that first timers using fentanyl, and people aren't educated. It's so dangerous. You can have a kilo of fentanyl and you can kill out a whole town with that if people don't know what they're doing. And it's very cheap to get. So
it's awful.
If we don't educate ourselves, we're going to have more and more
people death. Yeah.
And
so anyways, again, the phone number is at the bottom of the screen, folks, and just give us a call, and we'll set up a meeting time where we can talk to you if you want. All right. Well, thank you so much for watching today. Terri Gnann, you are just a rock star. And I will talk to you soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.
Bye, everyone.